The LA Kings create salary cap relief in a major three-team trade. Cooper Kupp is back with the Rams, and two Dodgers rookies are taking extra practice to maintain their swag. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is June 7th, 2023. In a few hours, I'm heading back east to work. Sucks for me. But what doesn't suck is we added a new subscriber to the Angelino familia yesterday. The more the merrier. We're trying to build something here for LA sports. So if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yeah, comment. Try to reach back to all you guys who do. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Honestly, tough day yesterday for the Angelenos. The Dodgers bullpen does it again. LA led at 1.8-3, but Caleb Ferguson completely implodes in the ninth. Cincinnati 9, Dodgers 8. Freddie Freeman hit a grand slam for LA. The Dodgers are on a 3-game losing streak and have fallen out of first place in the NL West. Meanwhile, you still just can't have faith in the LA Sparks, who fall to 3-3 after blowing a 21-point lead to a team that had no wins yet in the WNBA this year. Seattle 66, Sparks 63. Nneka Ogwumike led LA with 22 points. Meanwhile, today the Dodgers are at Cincinnati at 4. Hug your wife, and if you have 3 hands, use the extra one to hold your nose. Noah Syndergaard is starting. He's 1-4, 6.54 ERA. Brandon Williamson, 0-0, 4.29. And the Galaxy are at Real Salt Lake at 6:30. It is the quarterfinals in the U.S. Open Cup. The winner of that match advances to face the Houston Dynamo on August 23rd. Hockey talk in the summer? You're damn right, hockey talk in the summer. The Kings, they entered the offseason with a surprisingly complex checklist of things to do in the offseason, starting with creating more cap space. And general manager Rob Blake did so, but that too was complex. LA went back to 2 of its most traditional trading partners and swung a 3-team deal with both Columbus and Philadelphia. It involved 6 players and 3 draft picks. Now, we're not going to go through what it means for each team because, again, it's complex. Why bother? How does it affect me? That's what we care about, right? How does it affect you? Huh? What do I care? I've been to Columbus, Ohio. That place is garbage. So no, I don't give a damn how it impacts the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Kings are going to get 2 players back, but I want to be real with you. Hayden Hodgson and Kevin Connaughton, they're going straight to the Ontario Reign. They are not considered needle-moving prospects. It's who the Kings gave up that make this deal compelling, because in turn, that's what makes for major salary cap relief. LA sent goalie Cal Peterson to Philly, along with defenseman Sean Walker and a prospect named Helge Grans. Now, why do that? Because now, thanks to that trade, LA went from about 2 or 3 million under the cap to 13 million under the cap. Peterson was the goalie of the future for LA, but he absolutely flamed out last year. They sent him to the minors, and he still couldn't get starting time. I saw 3 Ontario Reign games last year. I never saw Peterson play. That's how far down the depth chart he fell. So Blake unloaded Peterson's $5 million a year contract. Now, as for Walker, the Kings have a glut of right-handed shooting defensemen. Some media outlets, by the way, as a side note, they made errors in reporting this trade. They claimed that the Kings sent their first-round draft pick this year as part of this deal. That's not true. The Kings don't have a first-round draft pick to trade. They had already sent it to Columbus when they acquired Eunice Korpisalo and Vladislav Garakov. We'll get to that in a second. The Kings did send a second-rounder in this trade, okay? So the Kings send 3 players plus a draft pick for salary cap relief. So what happens with this breathing room under the cap? Well, the first thing likely to happen is that LA will keep Vladislav Gavrikov, who we mentioned a moment ago. He's a left-handed defenseman. They acquired him at the trade deadline with the Blue Jackets. Gavrikov is to be a free agent. He and the Kings have been talking for weeks. Now, should he stay in LA, the top two defensive pairings for the Kings, pretty damn good. The top one is Drew Doughty and Mikey Anderson, followed up by Gavrikov and presumably Uber prospect Brandt Clark, who got a cup of coffee in the NHL last year, but they couldn't keep him due to salary cap considerations. So theoretically, you now have a brand new second pairing on defense that wouldn't be there if it weren't for salary cap relief. I'd also imagine that some of that largesse will help to retain restricted free agent forward Gabriel Velarde. Goalie, though, is a mess. That is one of the next things after keeping Gavrikov that the Kings have to tackle. There is a belief that LA should bring back Joonas Korpisalo, but he was outplayed last year in the playoffs by a journeyman goalie in Edmonton. Now, there have been rumors that have been circulating on the Twitter, about a bunch of other starting goalies. Right now, the only goalie on the roster for the Kings with NHL experience is Phoenix Copley. So they need a goalie. But the excitement from Kings fans has to be tempered about getting one. Take a moment and think about what the Kings spent on goalie last year alone. Their goalies at the start of last year were Cal Peterson and Jonathan Quick. Everybody loves Jonathan Quick, but those two goalies alone last year couldn't stop a puck, and they were both paid combined $10.8 million, which is a massive percentage of the salary cap. So you have to ask yourself, does Rob Blake have the stomach to overpay for a goalie again? Would you? You got burned by two of them last year. I'm not the type of guy, by the way, that grades trades. What I can tell you is not everybody gave the Kings an A, but nobody said the Kings got fleeced in this trade, even though they got two minor leaguers. So again, setting the franchise up for next year and the future, massive salary cap for the LA Kings. Kupp told ESPN he's feeling really good after ankle surgery. He was injured last year in week 10, but he still had, at that point, 75 receptions for 812 yards, 6 touchdowns. Now, while he says he feels good, know this, he is not playing with the team yet. He is rehabbing off to the side with a trainer. Is that an issue? Well, Sean McVay doesn't think so, in the sense that it's giving more reps to other receivers who are vying for the number 3 receiver role. Remember, the Rams play 3 wide receiver formations virtually the entire game. 5th round pick, wide receiver Puka Nacua continues to take advantage of this extra practice time. The Athletic said McVay gave Nacua and other offensive skill players instruction on how the timing and the spacing work with plays in the red zone. Minutes later, in an 11-on-11 drill, Nacua caught a touchdown pass. McVay is describing this rookie as, quote, conscientious, unquote. Well, he described him in a lot of other ways, but basically what they're saying is he's playing beyond his years. Another thing that I'm reading about the Rams from OTAs is that the offensive line, the nice way to put it is that there's a lot of experimentation going on. Joe Noteboom is back from an Achilles issue, but they have not committed him to playing left tackle yet. That's one thing. Steve Avila, the second round draft pick, their top draft pick, Tremaine Ankrum. They've been switching back and forth. Which guard are they going to play? Right guard, left? Rams keep guessing. Coleman Shelton, Brian Allen. Which one is the starting center? Don't know. So there's a lot of experimentation going on. The Rams also waived running back Tyon Evans. He was an undrafted free agent rookie. LA has 3 running backs who are already likely to make the roster. Cam Akers, Kyron Williams, and Zach Evans. Now, Evans is also a rookie, but he was drafted out of Ole Miss. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry in the SEC. Minicamp, by the way, begins next week for the Rams. Also with the Rams, sort of, Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell thinks current Lions quarterback, former Rams quarterback, Jared Goff, is a better quarterback now than he was in LA, which is high praise because Goff got the Rams to a Super Bowl. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I don't know. Whatever. I don't concern myself that much with the Detroit Lions. But then Campbell went a step too far, claiming that the Rams held Goff back. I do watch Rams football, and I'm here to tell you that is not true. I know you want to boost your guy, coach, but you weren't in LA. Goff became a check down guy in his latter seasons with the Rams on every single play after the Patriots humiliated him in the Super Bowl. He was too timid to go deep. McVay wanted Goff to take risks. McVay wasn't the one holding him back. McVay was the one ripping off the restraints and saying go for it, and Goff wouldn't do it. Jared Goff held Jared Goff back in LA. Now don't get me wrong, credit Goff for taking the trade out of LA like a man. Credit him for that. Credit him for adjusting his game. Credit him for refining his chutzpah. But the reason he's in Detroit and not LA, that's his own damn fault. By the way, back when I was a sports writer, I would cover a lot of minor league baseball. There was a team in San Bernardino, I should say, that had this front office dude I really liked hanging out with. We're friends. He took a job with this fledgling thing a couple of decades ago called the NFL Network, talking fantasy football. And now Adam Rank is one of their go-to on-air guys. And I've always been proud of the guy for that, always. The reason I bring this up is Adam Rank thinks that the Rams will win 7 games this year. I think it's fair. I don't have a problem with it. Could be 1 more or 2 more. Could be a couple of less. You let me know. And by the way, I don't know a damn thing about fantasy football. So don't ask me about judging what Rank thinks about fantasy football. Have no idea. The LA Times is reporting that Miguel Vargas and James Outman are arriving every day early to take part in extra coaching to try to smooth out the growing pains in their rookie seasons. The problems have varied. Vargas, for example, if you remember, he was hampered in spring training because he had a small fracture in his finger. They wouldn't even let him swing a bat lest he injure it further. Outman was Rookie of the Month in April, but ever since May, he's batting .161 and striking out more than a third of a time. So, is it working? Perhaps. Coach Dino Ebel says Vargas is, quote, the hardest worker on the team, unquote. So we'll see. CBSSports.com re-ranked its list of the top 25 prospects in baseball. I didn't even know they had one. 2 Dodgers are on that list. Now, Bobby Miller on that list has already made the show. How long he stays? Don't know. There's going to be a decision about that when Julio Urias returns. But the other is catcher Diego Cartaya over in AA Tulsa. CBS believes Cartaya will make his major league debut in the summer of next year, but he needs to cut down on strikeouts and not be as reliant on pulling the ball. The following roster move was made prior to the Dodgers bullpen setting itself on fire. They called up right-handed reliever Nick Robertson from AAA Oklahoma City. He has a 2.13 ERA, strikes out more than a third of the batters that he faces. The Dodgers also signed longtime major leaguers Cole Calhoun and pitcher Mike Montgomery to minor league contracts. Now, Calhoun's name might ring a faint bell to you. He played for both the Angels and Arizona. Montgomery has not pitched in the show since 2020. Now, we also realize that the trade deadline is many weeks away, so we're not engaging in rumors here. LA has, however, lost a trade chip for the trade deadline. There is a prospect in the minors who had no place to play on the major league roster, outfielder Andy Pages. He's the number 67 prospect in baseball, according to The Athletic. But he tore a labrum in his shoulder, had to go season-ending surgery, so he is not somebody the Dodgers can deal. Keep in mind, though, the Dodgers do have a couple of minor leaguers who are considered legit prospects with nowhere to play on the roster. The other person that's coming to mind is Michael Busch, who did get a little time with the Dodgers earlier this year. Yeah, I know Austin Reeves of the Lakers is apparently hooking up with Taylor Swift. They apparently got together in some bar down in Arkansas. It's the great American love story, especially when you're talking about Taylor Swift, right? I just don't care. I don't. And I'll tell you something. The reason that you shouldn't care is it's not like, say, Lamar Odom hooking up with a Kardashian where you knew it was going to be like catastrophic to his life. The Kardashian chicks are like kryptonite to masculinity. Taylor Swift, she's just a chick with a lot of money and some songs that I don't know. But the other thing I do know about her, to her credit, she's not a gold digger. She's not. Even when Reeves signs his contract extension, he still might not be able to afford going to one of her concerts. So, yeah, whatever. Maybe it works out. Doubt it. Don't care. Have you always wanted to tell Clay Helton what you think of him? You might have your chance. The Trojans have scheduled the Georgia Southern football team in the 2025 schedule. That's having said that, we don't know if Helton's going to have his job by the time that game runs around. The Eagles were 6-7 last year. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Tell me what you think the Kings should do now that they have cap space. Tell me what you think about the Rams' offensive line or their skill positions. And if you enjoyed talking LA sports with me, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.